Mark and Haley back with Vlogging with Tempo. It's season 3, episode 6.
Yep, 6.
Sounds good. And what we're talking about today is
Leadership in the field.
okay. So what do you mean by that?
Typically, that will mean one-on-ones, one-on-ones in the field, using one of our vendors, Zero, asking questions.
Asking questions.
Asking questions.
Asking questions is tight.
Yes, it is.
So when you first came to Tempo, right? I think one of the first things you did was, and you're talking about it already, with being on site with the technician, with the comfort advisor, with the hybrid comfort advisor technician. It's a ride along.
Yep.
How did your ride alongs go when you first got here? Because that was really interesting to me. That was one of the first things. And I thought it was awesome. The first thing you did.
Yeah. So my goal is, the end all be all goal for any company should be improve customer experience. Part of that is giving the ability to some of our technicians to offer more than just repairs. Because at a certain point, it's not beneficial to a homeowner to repair a system. It's beneficial to replace a system. But who does the homeowner trust? Do they trust the technician that's in there every single year, most times 2 times a year? Or do they trust someone that they call out more often, that they call out to come behind them? Who's going to be trusted more? It's going to be the technician. So,
yeah, there's subject matter experts.
They are. Yep.
Sometimes it goes the other way, right? If you've got to reset an appointment, there's times where someone who's not working on air conditioning is the most valuable person inside that home. It's situational.
Yep.
But what'd you find? What kind of experience did you had getting out? Because it's interesting to me, and I'd like to ask you about it. You're brand new to this has been a while, but you're brand new to the customer at the company at this point. Just basically introducing yourself to the field partners, and what was that like?
So you told me who our typical trainer is, right? So I wanted to ride with the guy that trains all the guys, which I did. So he took me out. The first call was someone that he's been in their house 15 times or something like that. He's been there a lot. So it was, we were there probably an hour I think it was a furnace tune-up. He went through a couple, 2 systems. He talked to the homeowner. He showed her pictures. Everything was looking great. It was a good experience to see like what one of the top guys does, right? On a call that there's zero opportunity to turn it over because the systems were like 4 or 5 years old. The second call was a opportunity to where the homeowner, she's been a member for a while. She's actually works for one of the builders that our new construction division works with, and she's one of her systems was not doing too great. So at this point, the technician he wasn't selling systems yet, so he actually brought it up. She said something that triggered in his thought process that maybe she should look at a system replacement, right? I wasn't. It was so early that I wasn't even set up in the iPad.
Yeah.
So I couldn't actually like pull up pricing or anything. I actually had to call the office because he said, "You know what? I got the guy right here." And so we all 3 started talking about the replacement system. Well, I didn't have prices, so I had to call the office to get a price of what were charging at that time to replace the system. But what it showed was like the customer experience, because she actually brought it up. The last time somebody else had to come out, and there's a lot of benefits to having someone follow up, right? Don't get me wrong, because if the system's not working, if it's not keeping the home comfortable, there's potentially that it's not the right size, right? So our company, whenever we do a new install for residential new construction, we do a heat load, or what we call a heat load. It's extensive. We know all the products that are going into a home. We know that this is the exact size this system needs to be. If we didn't do the install for this home, and this home was built in, I think it was the 70s, so it was an older home. So they didn't even do them, much back then. And if they did, they weren't accurate like they are now. So, but in her situation, everything worked right. Everything heat and cooled perfectly. There's situations where I would go into a house, and if it's 90 degrees outside, which our heat loads are built for 95, I believe. So, and they're not cooling. It's undersized.
Yeah.
And it's never going to cool. So getting someone out that has the ability to do a manual J heat load, right, to make sure that the system's right, that send someone out that can do that. If everything is the right size, and our technicians are even trained on to do a heat load, we do them through an online program in the field. They can do it if need be, but typically most of our customers have already had one. Yeah, so we know it's perfectly sized, and we'll go in, and they'll be able to talk to them about replacement, and they'll sometimes, depending on the time of day that they're at that house, they'll be able to talk to them about the system replacement, and we can potentially do it that same day.
That's pretty cool.
Every now and then, that's not as often as like next day, but I mean, it'd be super cool if it was, you know. But the one-on-one that we had, right? It opened his eyes to see the potential. He could see, man, this because he's really good with his customers. His customers love him, and along with all of our technicians, and for him to see like the opportunity of what could be for him and the homeowner, I think that was a big deal for him, and it kind of changed the mindset even more to what the potential is for a technician.
No, yeah, it's well, first, one, clear up a couple things, right? One, Haley has a fantastic memory, and that is like the first two calls you run when you first get to the company. It must have been an impressionable day, but still, that's fantastic. Remember all that detail.
Yeah.
I was expecting general feelings, but that's awesome.
My bad.
And number two is we evolved the process, it kind of streamlined and things so that we had it in a different workflow before, and then in trying to develop a better customer experience, we changed, at that time. Yep. And that was really cool. What is it like though, to let's say you're a manager coming into a company, and you obviously first thing you do is evaluate your processes, your standards, making sure everything's up to speed. You're developing great customer relationships. You can see your reviews start coming in. Everything's looking great. How long before you feel comfortable coaching somebody up?
As a new,
yeah,
okay,
because that's interesting to me.
I would give it. So you got to understand the person first, right? So get to know them. If me and the technician didn't connect, it would be I'm not saying like every day right along,
yeah,
but it would be a month or two before I start doing any coaching, because they would have to know me and understand what I've done in the past. Because if people don't understand what you've done in the past, then they're really not going to care.
That's super good advice, right? Because you have to establish credibility and rapport.
Yeah.
And then you almost earn the right to provide your knowledge back, and that's all part of that coaching process. It's and getting out in the field with gives you two options, two things I think that are the best things for me, is impacting that the customer experience is uniform and to a very high level. And then the other thing is you can find opportunities because there's varying, I feel like it's a learning process throughout your whole career, no matter what. There's always something to work towards, to improve on. But there's different levels of experience and amount of growth people can. And if you've got somebody who's, maybe been in the trade for 4 or 5 years, you've got a lot more knowledge to share with them, and you gotta establish that base point, right? Where it's okay. This is where you're at right now, and with a good amount of knowledge transferred to you, you can get all the way up to there. So you've got the credibility and the rapport, and they know that you're working in their best interest to develop them. As long as the mindset's there,
Yep.
And I guess it's different for every situation. But coming in real hot right away,
Yeah, it's not
probably not the best practice.
Yeah, it's definitely not. So just a kind of a side note, because it's not. It was kind of a peer-to-peer, right?
Yeah.
Thing that happened. So one of our technicians that can offer system replacements, he was doing a ride along with someone new that was going to be. So it's this same type of person that has the ability to repair or replace, right? And they rode along for a number of days. I don't remember how many, but the this new technician, he was talking to him about other people at other companies, what he's seen them do.
Yeah.
And it opened his eyes to the potential of, holy cow, I could do that.
Yeah.
And after that point, his goal, personal goal, jumped 20-30% just from like a couple days of riding with a peer, but has experience with in the industry within our area of what someone could do. And that's pretty cool too. So even though it's not a coaching opportunity for like leadership with one of our individuals, these peer-to-peer, they can get stuff from each other.
Well, that's the really cool thing about training, being a trainer, being a coach, anything involved with that type of thing. What you have is you have an opportunity. You've got all of these sources of information, right? And so one of the really cool things in coaching and training, and even going back to just being a technician that's training people coming into the company like that, is the takeaway that you can get from somebody else's process, and you might find like a better way to do stuff. If you're open-minded, you can find new ways to do things that are better from anywhere.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be somebody who's, in the field that you're in for 5, 10, 15 more years. It could be somebody coming right in that just like has a really great idea. Just be open. And I love learning. I love teaching, and I think you learn the most when you teach.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. Dismounts from the end of the video always are a challenge for me. So let's throw it to you to ask for commenting and sharing and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, I'm not super good at that.
All right, I'll take it.
I'm gonna go throw.
All right, go. So that's all we have for today's episode. Like, comment, share, subscribe. If you put something in the comments, if you know somebody who wants to get into the field, if you have questions, if you're out of market and you think about like, hey, what's the best practice for your market? Maybe that's a great way to pick up information there too to help your process. And we'll see you next time on Vlogging with Tempo.
Bye-bye.
This is where they play music again.
Oh,
pretty sure.
Music, sweet.
You hear it?
What kind?
Tell me why.
Oh, yes. Backstreet Boys.
It was the status set. Yeah, it's awesome.
It's very exciting.